Futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and may not be suitable for all investors.
Good morning. It's Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, about 6 a.m. Central Time. So, we talked yesterday, $320 an ounce. I was going to give this to the old lady. Now, $340. I don't know. I might keep it for myself here. So, the question always becomes, what do you do with these things here? You start accumulating tons of stuff. And what is it? Is it just stuff? Are you going to sell it? Can you sell it? And what are you holding the metal for? Like, what are you actually doing with this thing here? So I can tell you this, that I was trying to take a shower at about 4:30 in the morning, and my phone was exploding with people wanting to liquidate a lot of positions in the silver market. So if you are holding the futures contracts, you do get that flexibility there where you have almost 24-hour access in the market. You sell it, you wait for some of these numbers, some of these economic numbers to come out. You wait for Trump to talk about tariffs and things like that. Market dips, people reestablish their positions. That's the benefit of the futures contract before. What am I going to do? Sell this at a gas station and then try and buy it back a bit later? It's a liquidity issue is why I always say that people should have a futures trading account, but that's just my opinion. So let's get into it here. So I'm Philip Streible, Chief Market Strategist at Blue Line Futures. We'll take a look at the precious metals in the futures markets and commodity markets that are trading for the day ahead here. So taking a quick look at the metals here. So explosive move overnight here. April gold, high in the overnight session, 29.64.10, trading at 29.55 right now, up about $10. So we are off of that record high. The record high was 29.68.50. You want to write that down. You want to put that on your charts there. The low, 29.51.10, and then what I'll do is I'll look at also that CPI low, which was 28.86.50. That's kind of the new line in the sand, the new edge. It's important that you identify key levels for adding positions on and taking positions off. So on March silver, the high 34.16.5 had a lot of people liquidating right around that level there. The low 32.93. Now the important point of the low is that the low was near yesterday's high. So we had sold off, we came back up, we closed at the high of the session here, and then we continued that upward momentum. So that gives you an idea of what's going on in the background, and it's really the fund flow. So we saw the exchange traded funds, they cut a lot of their gold holdings here. They cut about 204,000 ounces of gold from the previous trading session. And where'd that money go? Well, it went into the silver market. So ETFs added about 1.57 million ounces of silver here in that overnight session here, bringing this year's net sales to about 14.2. So you can see more people are calling right now. Probably want to liquidate more silver. But this is the fourth straight day of growth on those ETFs. So the gold silver ratio, what happens? It drops from 90-1 down to 86-1 overnight. So sticking with those metals here, we got gold prices. They are advancing for the third straight day. They're trading just below that record high. It's the uncertainty around the tariffs, the trade talk, the global economy, the reciprocal tariffs that President Trump has discussed, and then that decision to propose new tariffs on a country-by-country basis has really caused quite a bit of uncertainty in these markets. So investors are trying to gauge the implications of monetary policy here and the effect on the global economy. So those gold prices, they are expected to rise. We are thinking something like $3,000 an ounce on the upside, and it's really driven by central bank buying and then the exchange traded funds, this safe haven demand that's going on there. Now shifting to copper, copper has been one of the best performing commodities this year, and the global copper supply has really been facing some disruptions right now, and we're seeing these U.S. import levies. They are really causing this wild price swing here and the huge gap between U.S. prices and then the global prices. So you look at the spread between COMEX and the LME, it's exceeded about $1,200 a ton, and it reflects this 50% probability that we will see 25% import tariffs. So traders are betting that these tariffs really are what drives this market up. And I think that's where you're seeing silver prices try and play catch up here to copper, which has taken off to the upside, and that gold market as well. And that's where you get that gold silver ratio really collapsing down to about 86-1. So the breakout in the silver market really negates the double top that we've seen recently around $34 or $33, and then it really reflects a move that looks like possibly up to about $35 here. So we'll want to see how it plays out. A lot of times silver towards the end of the session on a Fridays, it's either going to close on the high note or it kind of fades off into the sunset. So you're going to really want to watch that unchanged level on the silver market. Now, there's two other things that are going on here. The world is set for quite a bit of power demand. So the global electricity consumption is set to rise over the next 3 years. And this was a report that come out by the IEA, which said that annual growth rate's expected to be about 4%. And that's where that copper, that silver demand really comes in. Developing countries like China, India, that's where your demand growth really comes in. It's the industry with air conditioning, electric vehicles. You're going to see the European Union and Japan. They are also expecting serious demand growth for power. Now, shifting to crude oil slightly unchanged here, up a little bit here, moving on. After that washout we saw yesterday, really the concern is ending that war there with Ukraine, and then also tariffs on crude oil from Canada and Mexico could drive those prices up here in either direction. So also we saw India, they did agree to increase those oil and gas imports to reduce some of the trade imbalance between the two countries. That was what President Trump was working on yesterday. So I think that's a little bit of the snapback here in that crude oil market. So 3-4 things that I'm going to be watching here today. Retail sales data coming out, industrial production data coming out. Can we get all-time highs in the gold market? Will the volatility in silver increase, and what price direction are we going in here? And again, what are you going to do with that physical silver here? Can you offload it? Can you buy it back? Is it efficient or not? Those are the questions that I always got to ask. And if you want to open up a futures trade account, send an email to info@Blue Line Futures and site, open a trade account. We'll send you over the link, and it'll take about 10 minutes to get an account going here with us. You got any questions, give me a call, 312-858-7303. Remember, futures and option trading, it does involve risk of loss, and it may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.